meanwhile. So, what brought you all here?
Ma'am, problems like mental problems, like distractions, and uh, the problems which are not serious but are
Makes
serious for our studies.
related to studies, right?
Yes,
No,
like two studies and about aggression and other stuff also.
makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, no worries. We will discuss about it. Okay, so just to give you all a brief introduction about me, my name is Nikita Jain. I'm a counseling psychologist by profession, and this is my first session with Mindspace. So, our today's topic is navigating stress through practical activities. Now, just to give you a brief understanding what the session will look like today, we are going to talk about stress. What is stress? What are the kind of stresses we experience in our daily life, and what activities we can actually do to overcome it. So, is it always that you try to do some activity and then you come back again saying that no, this is not working, or I'm too lazy to do it, right? So you are not nudged to do a particular activity. So today we are going to talk how practically you can do some activities to navigate through stress. So before that, why don't we start with one activity? Since you have turned on your camera also, I would it would be nice seeing you also. So now first close your eyes and take a deep breath. Have you closed your eyes and take a deep breath? Yes. So now think of top five people whom you love and care the most. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and think of top five people whom you love and care the most. Okay, so let me trick you with this thing. I'll guess the people whom you have thought about. Okay, and just let me know. Yes, okay. Please use your mic to let me know whether it is correct or wrong. Okay. So, in the first, how many of you have thought about your parents? Parents is one of the person whom you love and care the most, right?
Mm.
Yes
Yes,
or
ma'am.
yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Mm.
The first person you have thought, one of the first person is parents. Then, how many of you have thought about your spouse in case you're married spouse, or if you're in a relationship, your girlfriend, boyfriend, fiance? Do we have that person on the list? Spouse, girlfriends, fiance, anyone? Okay. Do you have your siblings in your list? How many of you have thought about your siblings?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
you have your siblings. That's great. Now, how many of you have thought about your friends? Friends in that list whom you love and care the most.
Yeah.
Friends, yes, great. And lastly, have you thought about if you're working or you're doing something about your colleagues or classmates, batchmates, teachers? Do we have any of them in the list? No. Okay. So now my important question is, has anybody thought about themselves in the top five people whom they love and care the most? Is that person there? How many of you have thought about yourself in that list? No one? Because I see no hands, no chat. So what about you? Did it hit hard that in the top five people whom you love and care the most, you are not there in the list? So what happens is daily when we are busy in our daily activities, going to colleges, going to school, going to work, doing our household chores, we get so occupied in thinking about what others need from us, we forget about ourselves. We forget that we need to love ourselves. We need to take care about ourselves. Tell me, does this happen with you that okay, today you think to relax, you're gonna watch a movie, or today to relax, you're gonna do something for yourself, go out for a walk or go out for an exercise, but you fail to do it because you're so busy doing another commitments, like say assignments or talking to a friend, being available for your parents. Does it happen to you that you don't take care of yourself? You don't promise the time that you have given to yourself.
Try to take care
You try to take
sometimes.
it, but you are not able to do it because you are doing some other activity. So you're running behind something, right? Let's say like
Almost.
talking to a friend. For example, today you thought you're going for a gym to take care of yourself, but then your friend calls you saying, "Hey, I'm upset. Can you please come home?" What will you choose? Yourself or others?
Yeah, I was supposed to go to gym from 5 o'clock, and my friend called me and said, "Let's meet at 6 today. It's Saturday."
Yeah. So see, that's nice if you're choosing gym. That's good, very good. So what happens is mostly in 90% of the cases, what I have seen in my experience is people always give more importance to others than themselves. They choose to fulfilling their other commitments with the family, relationships, with the friends rather than themselves. So that is why this session first I wanted to start making you realize that it is important to take care of yourself. It is important that you love yourself, right? But how do you do that? That's the very biggest question, and that is actually not possible because in daily life you have so much of activities to be done, no? You get stressed with it. Like for example, even to go to college, your bus is late or you're running late for a class, you're stressed about it, right? कि
Yeah.
टीचर सुनाएगी, ये करेगा, वो करेगा. So that's how it works. So I wanted to make you all understand or go through the definition of stress. What is actually stress? When you would use the word stress, do we actually know what does it mean? So there's a very famous quotation by Hans Sale. He says that it's not the stress that kills us, but it's a reaction to it. Could you relate to this thing? It is not the stress that kills us, but a reaction to it. For very basic thing. Okay, you are a college student, right?
No, I just graduated. I'm working right now.
You're working. Okay, great. So which company are you working in?
Yes. I'm working at Intel here in Bangalore.
That's great. That's great. So in Intel, you are starting your career, right? And
Yeah.
imagine you're late for your work. So example, 10 o'clock is your shift timing. You're supposed to log in at 10
Mhm.
o'clock. And you got delayed by 10-15 minutes. Do you face that stress, that anxiety in you that, oh my God, I'm 15 minutes late. What will my manager say? It's my first day, this, that, and all.
Yeah, right, right.
You've been there, right?
That happens. Yeah.
Exactly. So that is what it says. Like, it's not the stress, that anxiety is not going to kill you, but how are you going to react to it? Okay, as soon as I go, my manager is going to scold me. The reaction which comes no out of the event. That is what is more scary to us, right? I might
Correct.
bad impression हो जाएगा, manager क्या सोचेगा, colleagues क्या सोचेंगे. That's the reaction we think. But situation ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Do you realize even if you're 10-15 minutes late, nothing has changed. But it's the impression in your head कि कुछ बदल जाएगा, right? So stress
Right.
is defined as any state of worry or mental tension caused by a difficult situation. So any situation, let it be a very basic one or a very complicated one, which will create a certain amount of discomfort, a mental thought which starts running in our mind saying that this is not nice, that is not nice. Any kind of distress you experience is called stress. This is defined by WHO. Now, what are the types of stress which we experience in daily life? Acute stress, chronic stress, stress and distress. So let me take you in detail what are these kinds of stress. So one, let me start with an example. Okay, imagine since you're working also, imagine you have a deadline approaching for a major project at work. The pressure and tension you feel during the final days to complete the deadline, that is called acute stress because it is arousing from a particular event. तुम्हारा पर्टिकुलर इवेंट क्या है, तुम्हारा प्रोजेक्ट खत्म करना है, राइट? सो नाउ टू मीट द टाइमलाइन, द स्ट्रेस you experience for the 10-15 days, that is called acute stress, which is for very short term. Once the project is over, the stress is gone, then you're happy, then you're excited about the results, right?
Correct.
So remember, anytime I want to make it more in detail so that you understand next time when you experience any office related stress or anything you can relate to this. So any stress which occurs due to an event in the sense, let it be anything, a office deadline or an examination you go for, entrance exam or a job interview. That is an acute stress. Whatever tension you face at the time of facing one particular event, that is acute stress. But what is chronic stress then? Chronic stress is something which is a long term stress which you can't change it. For example, work related issues, work pressure, deadlines, meeting the deadlines, or financial difficulties. It's something you cannot change, right? That is very persistent for very long. For example, from last 1 year your salary is around only 3 lakhs. Example, from last 1 year your salary is 3 lakhs, but you want to change it, you want to make it 6 lakhs, but the company is not doing. So can you change that?
No,
No, but you're
like not instantly.
yes. So that's something you're stressed about it from very long. No, you'll daily be thinking today will be my increment, aaj kar dena, kal kar dena. So that stress is persistent. You always keep thinking about it. So chronic stress is something which is for long term and it cannot change. It could be because of any situation in life. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Yes. Now comes the you stress. This is, one of my favorite kind of stress. Okay. For example, you are having a wedding, or example, you're having a friend's birthday party, and you are the host. I tell you, today's my birthday, please organize my party. So, you will be more happy and excited to organize my birthday party. You'll be calling my friends, you will be arranging food, everything, right? So that, and then you are expecting that the party has to go well. So until the party is happening, you're stressed कि सारी चीजें आई कि नहीं, सारे नीड्स पूरी हुई कि नहीं, है कि नहीं? Do you experience that kind of stress any time?
Yeah.
So that is called eustress. It's a positive kind of stress which comes as a result of a situation, but the result will make you work in a positive direction. It is not a negative way. See, there you're not going to fail, but you will experience this. Yes, everyone can participate in this. Also, we are hearing echo. Okay. Is it better now?
Yeah, better.
Okay.
It was a very slight echo.
Okay, no issues. So, eustress is something which comes out of a situation, but it motivates you to work in a very positive direction. Let it be organizing your wedding, organizing a party, or let's say going out to meet a friend. You want to make it special, right? So this is called eustress. But distress. Now, what is distress? This is kind of negative stress that comes from a situation which is going to affect your well-being also. For example, you receive a bad news saying you have lost your job, or you have lost your loved ones, or there's a serious health diagnosis that you experience. At that point of time, the situation is totally out of your control. You cannot change anything. But what happens is, receiving that information, you start thinking so negative about it that you feel stressed. What will happen? What will I do now? Will I survive? Will I not survive? Will I be able to take care of myself? Isn't it? Do you experience this kind of stress in your daily life? I just wanted to understand how many of you experienced these kind of stress: acute, chronic, eustress, and distress. Anyone who has experienced this kind of stress could just share any of their incident relating to these four. Any one incident if you have experienced.
Short term is always project deadlines,
Yes, project deadlines. Totally agree.
exam
So
deadlines, graduation deadlines, project
yes,
deadlines. There's always like every 1 month or 1.5 months, there's something else that pops up and takes away your peace. It feels like that.
totally agree. So what do we do? So when you experience stress, I'll just read out certain symptoms. Can you relate if these happens when you're in a stressful situation? Let me start with the physical symptoms: frequent headaches, fatigue, dizziness, increased heart rate, muscle tension, digestive issues, change in appetite, breathing difficulty, excessive sweating. Have you experienced any of these kind of physical symptoms when you're stressed? For example, it's your project deadline. You must be having headache, working for long hours, or you must be having that tension sitting at muscle tension sitting at one place. Sometimes backache, neck ache, right? Do you experience this kind of stress? Exhausted, you feel fatigue. These are some physical symptoms which are natural response to stress. Anytime when you're going through an acute stress or a chronic stress or a distress, these are some natural reactions which most of the people experience in a physical way. Coming to an emotional way, what are the symptoms? Anxiety, feeling sad, difficulty concentrating, social withdrawal, feeling lost, mood swings, anger, sleep disturbance, burnout. I am sure if you all are here today, you must have experienced these emotional symptoms somewhere or the other at some point of your time in life, right? Yes, no, maybe. Any response?
Yeah, a
Yes.
lot of times.
Lot of time. So would you like to share any kind of incident where you experience these emotional symptoms at once?
Going for interviews, I guess, if it is a
Go.
live interview,
Okay.
one-on-one interviews, at that time these like multiple things pop up.
Totally, I could relate and I can agree to you. So could you tell me what is something that you did when you were feeling stressed? What was your reaction? Were you feeling nervous, or you were questioning yourself, self-doubt, or you were not able to sleep the previous night? What were the behaviors you underwent when you were going through stress? Could you share if you're comfortable?
No, these things are like these are mixed signals. So it's not like everything you can identify each of them.
Makes
It's like
sense.
it's a combination. You are fatigued, you haven't slept, you missed breakfast probably, It's
Yes,
like you have been studying the same thing for like 4 5 hours now,
totally,
and you're not even sure whether those questions will be asked or not. So
totally,
that's on top of that. You don't even know what's the outcome going to be. That that
totally okay.
that causes anxiety, and then if you are unable to crack it, let's say, then you are sad, and you feel
Yes,
like, oh, all that effort has gone into waste, even though you have probably improved a lot, but at that moment you are not
you
really
feel
thinking about
helpless. Yes, you feel lost,
it. Right.
and you feel so burnout. Burnout is some nothing but you getting exhausted of the entire process. So preparing for an interview, closing the interview is one whole process, and the result is another. That whole cycle makes you so exhausted, isn't it? Because you will be regretting that you worked so hard for it, and in the end nothing happened. You're so tired of it, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So that is why I've made a list of certain behaviors. So, you could next time when you go through certain stressful event, you can make a note of it. So when we are facing any kind of stress, these are some major behaviors which we experience. You don't feel excited or happy like before. Like, for example, talking to a friend is most exciting to you. Before an interview, you want to talk to your mom and, take her blessings. But you can't take that because, you're so upset with the previous process. You're not confident anymore. You don't feel excited about anything which you were doing previously. So if there's any other set of audience who would like to contribute, maybe, I could personalize their examples there. Is there anyone who would like to contribute? You can use the chat option also if comfortable. Okay. So next, you don't make time for your friends and family. So you're going through so much of anxiety that you don't have any time for your friends and family. You say you try to avoid those social meetings. You try to socially withdraw from them. You don't make much calls because you're afraid of the questions they're going to ask you, right? Doesn't it run in your mind? Hey, you went for that interview. You know what happened? You didn't crack it. So these kind of things we do face, right? You are on constant self guilt and you feel restless about it. You will be like, am I fit for nothing? You start questioning yourself. These are certain behaviors. You feel more irritated to take a work or to work or answer your calls. For example, you're going through a project and you have a deadline to meet and somebody comes and says, please do my additional work. Though it's your colleague, it's your best friend, you are not able to do it because you're very irritated. You're so occupied with your own self. You are unable to make things right. You are procrastinating. You know how, for example, there's a problem, you know the solution, you know how to make it right, but you're not able to do it because you have gone through a huge cycle of negative feelings, thinking bad about yourself, self doubt, not experiencing things right. You start procrastinating. You'll be like, I don't want to do it, dekha jayega baad mein. I'm not comfortable with it. You frequently shout at people, like saying, if somebody comes and for example, it's your brother or it's your sister or it's your mother, you're working on a very serious project, and then you're so burnt out of it, you're so stressed, you shout at her, I don't want to have my lunch, I told you, right, don't come. You end up shouting at your friends or your loved ones. You overthink an event. For example, we were discussing, like, coming late for work for 10 to 15 minutes. Don't we overthink that 10 15 minutes that whole time? Oh, I'm late. Kya hoga office mein? Kya sunayenge, right? So these are some stress behaviors which we experience. So I just wanted you all to make a note. So next time you understand when you're behaving such way, what do you do? I will tell you later. But so once you know that this is your stressful behavior, you will be able to tackle it better. Now, when we say stress, it's a very huge word. People don't know how to tackle it, or people don't know how to get over it. To get over it, first you have to understand what is the problem. You have to understand what is the behavior that is hurting you, what is triggering you, right? So now what do we do? Here is our treatment. Hack your happy hormones. So when we are stressed, we release a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol makes your body release a hormone which will make more stressful things for you. So this is something which I have come up with to hack your happy hormones. So these are certain symptoms you can make a list of. Please take a screenshot of it. Trust me, it will help you. If you're feeling stressed, if you're having some cravings, if you're feeling sleeping difficulty, mood swings, body aches, social withdrawal, these are some major symptoms we usually go through when we are, in a long-term stress or facing something for a very long time. These are some major symptoms. So what do we do? These are some happy hormones which we can hack and they'll help us to overcome it. Dopamine. Dopamine is a feel good hormone. It will make you feel nice. So, have you ever thought, completing a task or doing a self care activity, eating your favorite food? Don't you say, wow, maza aa gaya kha ke? Does that reaction come from it? Do you feel light after eating some nice food, or, sleeping well? Like after you sleep well, you get up next day morning, you're very active, you're very fresh. Hello.
Yeah,
Yes.
hello.
Yeah. Sorry, I think it got stuck in between. Anyway, so when you do certain activities, your hormone called dopamine release. These are some list of activities which, if you try, you will feel better. Next comes oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. So there are some activities mentioned here. Can you tell me if you have been doing anything in the recent times? Any of the activities mentioned here?
I actually have a question, small question. If you
Yes.
Yeah, so these activities are okay, but my question was, let's say you're so stressed out that these feel a hurdle.
Sorry.
These simple activities also start feeling like a hurdle. Like
Yes.
then you go back to, like, let's say just scrolling through your phone, and that
Yes.
doesn't really make you feel better in the long term. But for
The
instant,
time being.
you are for that duration you are happy, or
Yes.
whatever chemicals go in your brain, you are hitting your dopamine or whatever, right?
Yes.
So it's just not a cell phone. Let's say people have some bad habits, maybe they fall back to that. So
Yes.
I've been trying to switch. Let's say I'm stressed out, and I
Okay.
have some activities. Let's say I can play the guitar, I can take a walk, but those the barrier to those activities feels slightly higher compared to, let's say, just scrolling through your phone. That is instantaneous. You get out dopamine hit immediately. That doesn't feel like work. These other activities start feeling like work. If I have to go to swim, I have to get clothes, get ready, pack my bag, and go for a swim. Even though that activity in a long term is good, for the
Yes.
instant duration, it's difficult to get started with these activities. So
Yes.
that feels like a barrier for me. I don't know if it is the same for others or not.
Okay, so surely we will address your question. I'll come back to this question definitely. Let me just go through it because the answer to your question is already here. Okay, today we will make you, hack your happy hormones in my way. Okay, works. Just have some 10 minutes patience with me. I'll come to your point. Okay, how you? So I'm just trying to understand your question is how do you do these activities? How do you overcome the barrier? Right?
Yeah, correct. Let's say
What?
let's when you're completely drained, you are stressed out, completely drained, and then you know these activities are amazing, and they'll
Understood.
probably help you. But yeah, anyways, you got my question.
Yes, thank you. So, coming to oxytocin, oxytocin happens when you talk to your family or you give a ever observed when you hug someone of your family member, your close friend, you feel very good. You feel a sense of trust with them. So, oxytocin helps you to boost your trust, boost your love towards others. Example, playing with a dog, playing with a baby. You feel more connected. Have you ever thought why do you feel connected? Why do you feel relaxed or you can trust someone? This is because of the release of hormone called oxytocin. When you meditate, when you're running, or when you're walking in nature, swimming, when you're doing some kind of activity, your body is relaxing, the muscles are relaxing, a hormone called serotonin is being released. When you watch a laughter video, or you do some oil essential oil head massage, or you go for an aromatherapy, you feel relaxed. Why? Because a hormone called endorphins is released. Eating a chocolate, exercising, watching some comedy videos, when you laugh, you feel better, you feel relaxed. This is all because of the hormones that has been released. So when you do certain activities, you can relate. Okay, I am boosting my dopamine, I am boosting my serotonin. Depending on the activity you choose, it will work for you to overcome these kind of symptoms. So it's a very easy thing. Take a screenshot of this, take a printout and put it in front of you, which where you watch daily. For example, like you said, you watch your phone, it's more convenient, why don't you try this? Make this as your wallpaper for 1 week. Okay, when you see this, some of the activity will keep motivating you because हिंदी में एक बहुत बड़ा सेइंग है, जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. जब तक तुम्हें दिखेगा ही नहीं कि तुम्हें टास्क करनी है, तुम ये चीजें कर सकते हो, तुम करोगे कैसे? राइट? तुम्हें फोन दिखता है, फोन तुम्हारे हाथ में, सो इट्स वेरी इजी फॉर यू टू स्क्रोल. So you will be doing that, which is nice. It is helping you to relax. So now let's do an activity. Okay, pick up your phones. Think of, I'll be sharing some people's list. Okay, just message them. Okay, according to what comes to your mind. So now I will, for example, I'll say think of the people whom you love the most. Message them, I love you. Okay, so I'll be sharing 4 slides, 4 people. Okay, let's do this activity. Take your phones and message the person who comes first to your mind. Person with the best smile. Take your phones, message the person who comes first in your mind, saying that, hey, you have best smile. Next, message the person who comes to your mind who is having the best vibe, saying, "Hey, you're my best person." Best vibe in the sense with whom you feel good when you talk to, when you relax. Like you can go to the person saying, "I want to relax. Hey, I want to have a fun chat with you." With whom you vibe. Message that person saying, "Hey, you are my best person." Next, person who comes to your mind when I say this, person with best problem solving skills. Message them saying, "Hey, you're my problem solver." Message the first person that comes to your mind when I say this. Person with best problem solving skills. Message them that, "Hey, you're my problem solver." Once you okay. Next, person with the best motivation skills. Message them saying that, "Hey, you're my motivator." Whoever comes to your mind first, message them saying, "Hey, you're my motivator." I would just like to, have a volunteer who would like to tell me what did you just do with this activity? What did you realize while doing this activity?
That it feels really weird to suddenly send messages like this.
Yes, it does. But have you done that?
Some of them.
Some of them. Okay, great. So, were you smiling while sending that message?
Yeah,
Yes. So, did you just realize you just hacked your hormone called oxytocin? Coming back to my slide, giving compliments. If you give compliments, you hack your happy hormone called oxytocin. You feel good, you feel better, you feel relaxed. At least for that moment, that 10 seconds or 15 seconds which you're taking to message. Did you realize that at that point of time you forgot everything and you were more focused on, what do you say, how do you express yourself?
right.
Right? So see, it is very easy for us to be happy in life or get over a particular thing. It's just about how we respond to it. Like I said in the first slide, stress is not about the event but it is our response to it. So remember you had a question saying that how do I use my phone. At least I only keep using my phone, but how do I do these activities? So see, using your phone, were you not able to hack your hormone called oxytocin by giving compliments? Hello.
Yeah, correct.
Yes. So it is very easier for us to, pick some activity which we love and we can do it. But it's just that, we are so stressed that we are very lost. What do? We need somebody to guide us at that point of time. So that is why, I would suggest you talk to, you make a timetable actually. First timetable, what you want to do in the day, how you want to for a very basic example, you want to go to gym, right? How you plan your day in advance. What will you do in the morning? What will you do in the afternoon? What will you do in the evening? So once you schedule your day, your stress is already less. Stress management techniques. These one of the stress management techniques which I'm talking about is hack to happy hormones table, which have already been shared. The next technique is 4 A's of stress management. First thing is avoid. Learn to say no. How do you avoid a particular event? Now, for example, you are having a project deadline or you are having a what do you say, a function in home which you cannot accommodate because you have to go to office. So you have to learn to say no, that this is not possible. If I accommodate this event, I'll become more stressful. I have a project deadline to finish, I have to focus on it. Don't give me additional responsibilities. First thing that practically you have to do is learn to say no. What happens is most of the time we are hesitant. We think log kya sochenge, या बात हो पाएगी या नहीं, कर पाऊंगा कि नहीं, हाँ बोल देता हूँ, बुरा लग जाएगा. No, it's not required. Think about yourself first. Learn to say no where it is required. Don't accommodate unnecessary stress. Next is alter. Express yourself better. Alter a situation. See, if you cannot change a situation, you try to alter a situation. You are in a situation where you cannot say a no, but try to alter it. Express yourself saying that I'm already occupied with certain things, I can't do it. मुझसे नहीं होगा, मुझे बाद में कर लूंगी या पहले कर लूंगी. डोंट से कि हाँ मैं कर लूंगी एंड देन लोड योरसेल्फ. डोंट लोड योरसेल्फ. टेल क्लियरली कि पॉसिबल नहीं है, बट अगर करना ही है तो मैं थोड़ी देर बाद कर दूंगी. आई एम ट्राइंग टू ऑल्टर माई स्ट्रेस. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मतलब अभी मैं थोड़ा टाइम के लिए स्ट्रेस रहूंगी, बाद में मैं आपका काम करूंगी. अभी के लिए आई एम ऑक्यूपाइड. ट्राई टू एक्सप्रेस योर सेल्फ बेटर एंड ऑल्टर योर सिचुएशंस. Next is adapt. How do you adapt? Sometimes, we are so involved in doing a task perfectly. The perfectionism, कि for example, मैंने आज खाना बनाया. I want the सब्जी to be perfect, and I'm so stressed about it कि सब्जी पे नमक बराबर डला कि नहीं, रोटी बराबर से बनी या नहीं. When I'm in office, did I finish my Excel or not? Did I update it? Did I send the mail correctly? Is my vocabulary correct? My grammar correct? So we are more, stressed about how you do a particular task and you make it perfect. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be the way you are. You have to accept कि यही तुम्हारा perfection है. मतलब तुमने एक mail लिखा saying that hi, I am available, instead of writing hey, I am right here. Anything. So it is okay if you make mistakes. You're perfect in the way you are. You don't have to be perfect like others, right? You have to learn to adapt to a situation. And the last thing comes is accept. Accept the things that you cannot change. Sometimes, we run behind changing the things. Let's say situation in house, you cannot change it, but you try to adapt to it, or you accept it. Ki, okay, this is something like this only. You try to build some different coping mechanisms to overcome it. So when you do this 4 practical, hack to hormone activities, and then I want you also to learn these 4 A's of stress management. If you try to imply it in your real life, you'll be able to grow in much better way. When you start learning to avoid stress, for example, you're from Bangalore, right? Traffic, how you cannot avoid the traffic, right? But you can plan your traffic in advance. For example, 9 o'clock is a peak traffic hour. You start to office early, like start around 7:30 when there is no traffic. Reach your office early, relax in your cafeteria or something. So this is how you try to learn to avoid a stressful situation. Alter, how do you alter? For example, you're working on a project and your manager comes and says, please do another project. You try to express him saying that this is not possible, I'm already loaded with some other work, can I do it sometime later? You're trying to express yourself, you're trying to alter your situation. But for example, you're not able to avoid neither alter, then you try to adapt to the situation. You try to give your best in whatever you can. So don't run behind perfection at that point of time, thinking I have to do project A and project B together successfully. Try to avoid that perfectionism and be the way you are. Try to fulfill it however you can. And then the last thing comes is accept. When you are, not able to give it in a perfect way, the delivery is not right, try to accept it. Okay, this has happened. I can't change the result. The project has failed or succeeded because of me. But what I can do for my future? What are the steps I can do in the future to, make my activity better or make my performance better? So these are some 4 A's you can follow for stress management, and you can hack your happy hormones also. In happy hormones, you have meditation, you have yoga, you have laughter exercises. So these are focusing on your both mental and physical well-being. So the conclusion here is stress is something which is unavoidable. We face it daily, it's day and night, but it is only on how we respond to it, right? So using this stress management techniques, using this activity chart, we can navigate through stress at that point of time. Maybe we cannot solve the stress permanently, but at that point of time, instantly, what do I do? For example, somebody shouted at me. I don't know what to do. I want to outburst. I want to cry. I want to talk to someone. What do I do at that point of time? It is a very stressful thing to me. I'm feeling very anxious. So I pick some activity which is close to me. I talk to a friend, or I give compliments, or I call someone and express this is what happened to me. This is something how you try to navigate from a situation rather than responding to it in a very negative way. You try to navigate and escape from it. So that's it from my end. Thank you guys. I'm open for questions. Please let me know if there's any questions.
Two small questions actually.
Yeah.
So the first question is, let's say you mentioned learn to say no. So I've been trying to prioritize my things and make sure everything has a particular slot and the times that I work or do my own projects. But then what happens is sometimes say no to some things, and then you get the FOMO that, oh man, I missed it out. Even though you know that the path you took is good for you, you realize it. But let's say you don't go out for a party, and then you see their photos posted on Insta, and then you man, I should have went for the party.
Yes.
But the moment then when you avoided the party and the work that you did, that was very important for you.
Yes.
But sometime later it doesn't click. So just right now I messaged them. You told me to message them, and I was getting a video call, and Now either I'm gonna ask question here, or I have to get that
Yes.
pick up that call. So
Yes.
now I'll think that, man, I just missed that video call. So
Okay.
live demonstration. Anyways, so the second one is second question is a repeat of my previous question actually. So I have tried these wallpaper things. The problem is it just becomes mind is a very tricky thing. You become blind to even if you have written in bold and
Hmm.
pasted in front of you.
Hmm.
Like one week it's great, amazing. Second week it's okayish. By the third or fourth week, I'm blind to it, even though it's staring at my face. Like let's say a friend comes into my place and he says, "Man, you're so this is amazing, man. You have written it like this." But I know that the day I wrote, first week went well, second week great. By the third week, even though it's written like that, I'm practically ignoring it, skipping it entirely.
Yes.
So this is where that barrier question comes in. That small when you are completely stressed out and completely drained, you fall back to something which is like low activation energy. Like let's say I'll take example of smoking. So that is a very low. There's no effort, right? No effort into getting into that activity, and but you're getting the results out of it. So reading novels. So I am I won't go into personal cases because there are a lot of people here. So certain examples, let's say drinking, smoking, reading novels, watching movies. These are very you don't put in energy, but any activity in the entire list that you mentioned, there will be some energy that you have to put in.
Yes.
So and that becomes a barrier when you are completely drained out. So how to handle that?
Sure. So let me take questions one by one. So I'll answer one of your question, which you're saying, the barriers that is getting stuck. So did you realize, or have my other participants also realized that when you were saying no effort is required in any of the activity, like say reading a novel or drinking, smoking, or doing anything, do you realize it requires a minimum effort of you opening the book, or you going to buy a cigarette, or you ordering a cigarette, or you going to buy an alcohol? A minimum amount of effort is required, right? But it's your perception towards it कि it is nice, ये मेरे लिए अच्छा है. It's your perception कि ये
Okay.
मुझे relax करेगा. Effort सब में लगता है. For example, giving a compliment also requires an effort to pick a message. But it's more easy कि smoking is more easy for me to relax. It's the social thing which you have been experiencing. It's a lot of factors which is involved. It could be because of a friend circle. It could be because of the environment you're in. So this could be discussed detail when we have a one-to-one session. You could book a session with me in the mind space itself, and then maybe I could help you. But did you just realize it's your perception? Minimum effort सब में लगता है. Even the
Okay.
एक्टिविटी योर परसेप्शन की इंस्टेंट रिलैक्सेशन देगा और बाकी सब में बहुत टाइम लगेगा. इट्स जस्ट योर थॉट्स टुवर्ड इट. Second thing, when you say you are getting drained and you're blank, when you make a chart and you're blank at the end of the day, third week for example you're blank. So it's just a tip. Maybe you can try and let me know if it worked for you. You make 3 separate sheets. Okay, week 1, week 2, week 3. So what happens is when you see 1 week task being done, you are rewarding yourself. You're saying that, hey, I completed this, I'm happy about it. But when you write 50 things in one, you feel lost. Okay, I did this, I did that, I missed this, I missed that. You are confused. In the end, you feel that regret. Okay, अब मुझे कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा, मैं कुछ नहीं कर पाऊंगा. So break down your task into different, small sheets. Week 1 task, week 2 task, week 3 task. उससे क्या है ना, whenever you watch it, you will feel fresh about it. Whenever you watch it, you want to work on it. Maybe you will not be able to do all the 10 activities in the list, but at least 2 you're doing. Rather than getting mixed in this 50 list, you're doing 2.
Okay, so what would be like the difference if a person is having ADHD or something? So how can he like test it? Should he directly go to doctors, like doctor for medicine, or should he try therapy or something?
Sure. Just give me 1 second. I'll come back to your question. Okay, hold on. Is there anybody else having any questions related to stress? Because I have one more question of yours to answer. The one who's on with the camera. If you're into this FOMO stress, which you are feeling, this is kind of stress that. Okay, could you repeat your first question again? Only FOMO is in my mind. Could you repeat the question which you had?
Yeah. So the question was, let's say it was mentioned that learn to say no.
Learn to say no.
The
Yes.
question comes from there. Yeah. Yeah, I observe that I am saying yes to too many things. Then I decided to no, these things are good for me, these things are bad for me, this is not working, it's not the correct time, whatever. So let's say I scheduled some things, and then obviously because I have scheduled, I say no to some certain other things, and later I end up regretting, man, I shouldn't have missed that. Yeah,
Yes.
even though the work that I substituted it with, that was a healthy activity or whatever, that was good for me, but even then I feel should have taken the other way,
Makes sense.
and I'm missing it now.
One, your response to the situation is very natural. Everybody feels the same. For example, you got point A, but you also wanted point B, so it is natural. We end up missing something, but it's a very natural feeling. Ki shit, I should have also gone here. ये नहीं करता तो वो कर लेता, better हो जाता. So it's a very natural feeling, and first thing which you have to do is you have to express yourself. You have to accept it कि ठीक है, चलो होता है. मुझे पता ही था. You have to be prepared for the consequences also. जैसे कि जब तुमने situation A choose किया, sitting going to gym rather than meeting a friend, so you have to be prepared for the consequence. First thing that is going to come to your mind is I lost my 1 hour with my friend. I could have gone there. I would have. He must have felt bad. He would be judging me. Sunayega ye wo. So get prepared with the consequences. Now, how you can get prepared with the consequences when you have done that analysis ki the activity which I am choosing is important for me, because if I didn't choose this, I'll have a lot more to lose than activity B. So prioritization. Once you have prioritized, get prepared with the consequences. Once you're prepared with the consequences, for example, you're prepared to meet me today and I say कि क्या तू इतना लेट आया, मैंने आपको बोला था जल्दी आने के लिए. So when you're prepared कि you're already late, तुमको पता है तुम्हें सुनना है, तो you're like हाँ काम में busy था. So it will not affect you much. But when suddenly I come and say hey, you're so busy man, you don't get time for me, you will feel bad, right? So prepare yourself. Second, for example, this video call is coming. You could have put a message rather than declining the call, or you could have just put a message saying, "Hey, I'm on another call. I'll call you back." Try to build up your mechanism, a reply back. What you could have done to explain somebody or in the situation. Remember the 4 A's. First, learn to say no. But if you are not able to say no, express yourself that hey, I was on another call. I was in a meeting. Sorry, I avoided it. Or put a message saying, "Hey, I'll call you back." Stuck with something. Obviously, you're expressing, they'll understand, and then you can continue with that flow. So yes, coming to the ADHD thing which you have asked for. So how did you diagnose about ADHD? I mean, how did you come up with this word? Have you done any test, or did you meet any psychiatrist, psychologist?
No, like I am confused. Like, should I go or not? Because I have heard from internet, or and you cannot trust internet, and
Next,
like I am having multiple thoughts from my childhood, which are like which are sometime is unbearable, and it's like it also distracts me from normal things. So maybe I
next.
don't know. So how can I know about all of this? Like, through whom? I don't know who is psychiatrist, what is work, who is therapist. So
Makes sense. Makes sense. So let me guide you. It would be more comfortable if you could just let me know for whom you're looking for. Is it for you or your child or you're someone close to? Okay. But in case if you don't want to share also, you can first thing what you have to do is rather than googling or something, just make a list of things that you're facing. For example, even if you want to go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist, you have to be aware of what you're facing. For example, like how you shared, you're having a lot of thoughts. Make a list of all the problems that you have been facing or something that you want to discuss. Then book an appointment with a psychologist first. Try to express them, tell them these are some certain things. Then she or he will be able to guide you what to do. Is it a clinical case or it's a psychological case? Which so difference between psychiatrist and a psychologist is psychiatrist will go through all your clinical assessments. If there's any biological reason involved for it, medical management required. Whereas a psychologist will help you with the therapies. Psychiatrist will help you with the what do you say, medicines. Mostly it will work with the medicines and how testings, MRIs and all. They'll be doing the clinical assessment and then they'll be helping you to diagnose it. Whereas a psychologist will talk to you first, understand your problem, and then help you with the therapy. But if then they realize the therapy is not working, then they'll suggest you a psychiatrist for a higher medical management. because our bodies works with the hormones which I shared, no, happy hormones and all. They work in a balance of hormones. If there's any change in the hormone level or our brain working system, then we involve psychiatrists. So to answer your question, first consult or first talk to a psychologist, make your list, and then decide what is more comfortable to you.